Hi, my name is E.T. Barton from BookReviewersClub.com, and I am here today to review the book Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card. This is a young adult dystopian novel, which generally isn't the genre that I read. However, I do occasionally read outside of my genre if I find something that intrigues me. Now, the movie is actually coming out November 1st, and what intrigued me was I saw a trailer for the movie, and I thought the idea behind the story was really, really interesting. But of course I didn't go rush out and buy the book because I really didn't know much about it yet. I saw the trailer again, and then I asked my younger sister about it, who's in college. She's at Berkeley, and she told me it was a fantastic story, that she had read it when she was much younger. So I was intrigued, so I went ahead and I bought the book because I really want to see the movie, and I'll probably do an updated review once the movie comes out. But so I went and I bought this book. I bought it on my Kindle, and mine has an introduction, and the introduction in my version says that the author wrote the book back in the 70s. And I find that amazing because most books, I find, as somebody who's read like tens and even hundreds of thousands of books in my life, I find most books that were written back in the 70s and 80s often went into long descriptive details about stuff, and as a reader who likes the action, too much description is torture for me. It makes me want to shoot myself in the head. So I really love today's style of writing, which is fast-paced, it sticks with the action, the description is worked in well. And this book feels like it was written today. It feels like it was published in the last 3 or 4 years. So I'm really surprised that this book was written in the 70s, just to start off with. And I really liked the writer's voice. I liked the way he wrote in his descriptions. And I do have to say, I think he's probably a master at commercial fiction. It's not the artsy-fartsy type of writing, which drives me insane. It is literally incredibly well crafted. So basically, the story is about a young boy named Ender, and he lives in this world. It's kind of like a world that's been attacked by aliens. And because of this war that had started about 100 years earlier, or 70 years earlier, Earth is pretty much in a panic, and they have created this program where they implant these monitors in the back of children's heads when they're born. And they monitor all their thoughts, they monitor their lives, and the ones that they feel qualify for the program, they then, when they reach a certain age, when they reach around 5 or 6, they take the monitor out, and if the child passed all the tests, they take them to battle school in space. And it's also a time when there's a lot of population control. Most families aren't allowed to have more than 2 children. And Ender ends up being specifically created. He's government approved because the government is looking for a hero to beat these aliens. They had a hero once, 7 years earlier, and they're looking for another one in a child. And so they kind of put all their hopes in Ender, who's a 3rd child. He's a genius, and he's half like his psychotic older brother and half like his empathetic young middle sister. And that's what they like about him. So basically, they remove the monitor. They get permission from him at 6 years old to go to battle school in space. And he goes, and he ends up being like the best they've ever seen. He's beating boys twice his age. Basically, when they get to battle school, everything in the school is about games. It's all war games, and they are taught how to fight, how to win, and kind of strategies and stuff like that. They're put in front of simulators, and that is what makes the book so interesting, because if it was written in the 70s, the type of description that he writes you would think would come after the Star Wars movies, and I believe this was written before Star Wars. It's very intriguing about life in space. They're doing physical battles flying through space. And I don't know if you've seen the Harry Potter movie. There was one of the Harry Potter movies has an episode where these wizards are fighting in the air, and they're going up and down and around in circles. And I remember watching that thinking, this is a new era of battle scenes. And when I read this book, I realized this guy was writing about these kind of scenes. Battles happening in the air. back in the 70s. So I can't wait to see what the movie is going to be like, just because the description that he put in the book is so powerful. Anyway, so stories about a boy goes to battle school, grows up there, and becomes like the last hope for the human race to beat these buggers. And that was the one confusing thing. If you read this book, I kind of got the picture from the beginning that because of the movie trailer, that the buggers were aliens. But when I was reading the book, I got confused as to what they were, because the people would refer to other races as buggers. You know, like there was some racism going on. And it made it confusing because there was also kind of this battle going on Earth, as well as everybody being afraid of the buggers. And then finally at one point it became very clear that the buggers are aliens, and from what I understand they look like giant ants, and everybody is hoping Endor is going to save the world. What I liked about the story, I love the description. I love the way he wrote it. It was very well crafted. It wasn't long, boring description that made you want to kill yourself. It was very modern day writing, which I happen to really like. It was a fast-paced story, and it was an intriguing story. What I didn't like was basically that I was confused at the beginning about what the buggers were. But once he finally came out and described them, it was like, oh, I get it now. So I'm just saying that ahead of time, so when you read it, you know he is actually talking about aliens when he says buggers. And all in all, I would give this book 5 stars. I highly recommend you read it. I'm definitely going to read it again sometime. I'm definitely seeing the movie. If you haven't seen... I can't wait to see what they do with the movie, how they make it different, because books and movies will always be different. Books, you're always in the head of the main character, and they can't do that in movies, but they do other things in movies that they can't do in books. So I'm very excited about the movie. I really like the book, and I highly recommend you read it. That's my review. Thank you.